তাহলে করে দিই।
হয়ে গেছে?
Okay.
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ।
ওকে মনীষ প্লিজ চেক।
Okay. Yes. 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 Now it's enabled. So see, suppose I'm just writing a simple. It is not proper way syntax because still I not remember what is the syntax. So I wanted to addition of some statement. Okay, simple. I first suppose here I want to assign. So there will be some comment like S1 and want to assign 10. The next time there should be a second tools that should be assigned 20. If I wanted to add, provide a operator, but add, then some, if I'm using some temporary variable, then S3 then the command will nothing but S1 plus S2, and then final. Okay, there is no semicolon. Then final, if you wanted to store it to some temporary variable, then you can use the str and some temporary, let's take it as t, then st. If you wanted to write memory, then some memory operation. So you have to remember that what is the add statement works for, what is the str statements works for. So these are not accurate at I'm saying, but near about the syntactically it represents that it's you have to remember a certain level which is not as user interactive as not, but as a machine level it is very readable. Machine can easily read this thing, they can linearly execute and use this. So that's why these are called as the low level programming languages. Now simple, I'm writing this in.
Sir,
Yes.
I can't see your screen.
Me too, sir. Sir, I'm also unable to see that screen.
Okay, now is it visible?
Me too, sir.
Yes, sir. Now it's
Yes, sir.
visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
So what I'm saying that suppose S1 is a variable. Okay, I'm thinking like that in the assembly language, or think like this a low level language representation. I'm not accurately representing it because I still forgot all of the commands and all the lines. Now think like that, this S1, suppose I store the variable 10, okay, into the S1, and again the variable 20 into the S2. If I wanted to add, then I have to provide this command. So in assembly language there is set of commands or the list of commands. If you have gone through this microprocessor or the microcompiler, you will find that a similar kind of representation there also. Into S3 we basically wanted to store the data S1 and the S2, and next is we wanted to, sorry, in this line, the third line, I wanted to add the data S1 and the S2, and the last line I had to store into a temporary variable, and later you can write into some memory operation, and there is a several steps you can provide the save operation. So this is the lower level language representation. So what happened, if a program, they have to remember all the commands and all the things, all the steps also. The main thing is, what is the main problem is, it is very difficult to remember everything, each of the line, and very difficult to perform the logical operation here also. I am writing the same context in, first let me write it in the your Java programming languages. Okay, so in Java programming language, which ID you all have used, Eclipse or NetBeans?
Eclipse.
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 In Eclipse, suppose you wanted to write Java without class, is there any way you can write it outside the class? Guess it, don't worry, just guess it. Outside the class, yes, you can write the code, but is there any way you can execute a code if it is completely written down outside the class? Because in Java only the main method counts with
No,
a
sir.
class. This main method counts with only a class, right? So Java, you guys already find out that it is nothing but system dot out dot println. No need to make method. Okay, here is your ARGS as well. String representations. ARGS. Now I'm just oh sorry. Here you just write down S1 plus S2. Whatever, it will just provide the result 3. So from the definition, if a programmer can easily distinguish or easily understand that the data nothing but this printed, and what is the verbal abbreviation of the print, nothing but to provide the output of it. Okay, out means something goes from inside to outside, and system means as itself the systems. So I'm not going into the deeper portion, but it shows the result, the similar kind of result. So it is very understandable to the developers or to the layman or to the users. That's why the higher level languages came. Now, how the languages evolve? The languages evolve from complexity of this to complexity of this. This is the language of evolvence. The complexity here is very too much. For the I'm talking about the understanding view to the users. From the understanding view, it is very difficult. A layman have to remember lots of things, then they can understand. But here the understanding level is less difficult compared to this one. That's how the program evolve one by one after one, then one after one. And C programming languages. C language, you will find out it is mostly called middle level language, because it happens because of some certain characteristics that C are not able to provide it, and also C are able to provide it. Like from the basic COBOL Pascal, C provides a bit of easier implementation. Like to use the main function, the function implement. Actually, the procedure concept is completely comes with the C programming languages. But the object-oriented concept, it is not supported by C. That's why C is falls under the middle level languages. And there is also several characteristics. I'm not going into that deep. Okay. And so that's the Java. Now, first let me show you one interesting thing, then I will start the installation process. And I also go to the, today I will go mostly on the theoretical questions. And from the next day, we will start the interactive sessions. Like I will start the coding and you guys also. Now. Yes.
Well, C# and C++ is also a middle level language.
No, C# and C++ is a higher level languages. C has, okay, let me show it. Low level language. Low level one is assembly language.
And machine language.
And machine languages. Now, middle level is only considered C. Okay, and how the C comes from, you guys, before C there is one language, you guys already know, that is nothing but basic. Before that there is some other language I do not remember. So from the alphabetical it comes A, then basics, and now comes to the C. That's why the languages name as the C languages. Okay. Now the higher level. So what considered to be higher level language? Mostly who have supported the object-oriented relationships, like your C++, C has Java, Python, R, your JavaScript, TypeScript. These are all the higher level languages. Okay.
.NET.
.NET, yeah, surely. .NET. And there is also other, you guys, one is called, for the Simultalk, the first completely truly object-oriented programming language is Simultalk. That's all. So what I'm saying to say that it is first the interestingness of the Python. Suppose I wanted to deliver, I wanted to print, suppose I want to print hello world. So in Java, you guys already know, first what I have to do, to take class C, let it down, then system out.println. Sorry, before that I need one main method. Okay, so system out.println is only what's inside the C, inside a class. Outside the class it will not recognize. You can see, you can find out. Now not public static void. Okay. Shortly I'm representing. system out of printer is out. Shortly it is hello world. So suppose if a programmer wanted to wanted to declare some result, you have to write up to that line statement on the class and the interface. This is the Java programming language. The best is C, the best is Python. In Python, just do one thing: print hello world. If you are using an IDE, if you are not using an IDE, you are directly using the console, the command prompt directly, or we can say that direct to the I forgot the name. You don't have to write the print statement also. Just go and type hello world there. Sorry, I mistyped several times. If you print it down, the hello world will reflect here. That is the beauty of this Python language. See, here we have to maintain the class name. Again, you have to maintain this name, and as well as you have to maintain this keyword also, as simply like the public. You have to maintain it as a public. If you don't public, you cannot use it from the outside of the class. The static, you have to mention it as a stack, the void main. Then inside the main, you have to mention is system argument. Then system out of print and hello world. In Python, just go and type this thing, print. So why I show this thing? If you learn Java, you will find out one thing, that C languages, for the basic operation, C language is very easy, right? What the basic operation? Taking input, providing output, right? All of you agree? Because in C you have to use only scanf and providing output. In C you have to use only scanf or output. That's all. But in Java I divided into system out of printer. Python brings the similar kind of features, that kind of features here. It remove the only F. Actually, print F stand for print function. So you remove the F, just directly use this print, this syntax print, and using that you can print down this hello world statement. Clear all? This is interactive mode that I will show you. Okay, one thing I have mistyped here. That is not simultaneous. That is small term. Simula actually one of the first object-oriented programming language. Okay, clear everyone? Then if you are clear, then I'm stopping my screen. Anyone share yours? I will try to install the IDE of this Python modules. Anyone, Ovijit or anyone, just share your screen. Yes.
Sir, I have in my machine, I have Python IDE 3.8.8 installed. Will there be any problem with that?
No. Actually, if anybody wanted to install, so that's why I'm sharing. Oh, Python, you are only installing the Python or any kind of
I'm
IDE?
sharing my screen.
I have in previously I have installed the PyCharm IDE, but
PyCharm IDE, but backend you use the Python.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I will use the Conda desktop manager, because Conda is very useful, and the second one is the using the Conda, lot of package automatically came. So Ovijit, you can go type, and here type just Anaconda in Google, just search Anaconda download. Anaconda download.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one. Individual editions, the Anaconda. So what is the Anaconda? Basically, you guys see this Anaconda. In the first one, the statement came, your data science toolkit. Okay, why it is saying like that? Because the Anaconda comes with lots of inbuilt package. Like if you are using this PyCharm, if this PyCharm basically nothing but a text editor. You can use Java for this PyCharm also, but in the back end or in the interpretive regions, for the compiler region, you need one interpreter installed. of it. That's why you need the Python. So if you install the Python, manually you have to install all the related packages. So just go and okay, go up and click. There is one download option should there. Click up.
That one.
Yeah. Click there. Click here the download. It takes time. Okay. Anaconda installation takes time. Just click on download. Yeah, come and now see there is okay. Now wait 1 minute. See there is a one Python version. You see this thing very carefully. Python 3.8, Python 3.8, and as well as Python 3.8. So who's if any other system who have installed the version below above, the version 2.7, 2.8, or 2.9. So please remove this thing and install the Python version 3, because Python version 2 has a lot of dependencies and some syntactically changes is also there. Now comes to the Python versions 3.9. Sometimes you guys will find out that 3.9 there's some issue will happen, okay, with 3.9, or sometimes if you wanted to go with this some packages, it will not support it. Okay, 3.7 is the latest stable version. Actually 3.5, then it's upgraded to the 3.7. Again that it is installed to the 3.8. So yes, if it is installed now, you can use it 3.9, but in future reference some issues occurs, or some you will find out that that code should work but it is not working, then you will find out that there's some inbuilt bug is happening. That will be actually Python 4 is coming, and it would be some major upgrade. So don't worry, if you are using the 3.9, let it be. But if you are using 2.7 or 2.5 or 2.9, just remove this thing and install this. Okay, now click on this 64-bit this graphical installations. Click on that. So it takes time. Yeah,
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yeah, tell me. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
All right. Now this PyCharm, okay, you can use the PyCharm also. Actually, I also use the PyCharm, but for PyCharm, you have to use this. PyCharm has actually Anaconda comes with a lot of distributions. It has your Visual Studio Code also. It has also your you can say Jupyter Notebook. I think you all of guys heard of it. Jupyter Notebook is basically very familiar to that Python developers. Okay, and second is the Spider. Spider is a similar text editor like your PyCharm. And it also has the Visual Studio. If anybody wanted to install the Visual Studio and use the Visual Studio, you can use it, because one second guys. Basically for the web development means your Django and that's kind of, the Spider will have no work. You'll find out basically it cannot perform on that. On that time you would need the text editor, but for now just learning purpose, just go with this either Spider or Jupyter. Okay, now you have installed. Now go with that folder. First go with that folder. Okay, it's already done. Okay, click on the next. Okay, click on I agree. Okay, just me. Yes, click on next. Now remember this path location. User Subhijit the Anaconda. All of guys just remember the path location. Here your basically all the files are there. Anaconda, all the Anaconda related files or the Python related files would be there. One thing, remember, suppose you wanted to install any packages in Python, you have to install lots of packages are there for the advanced study. On that time, this location is important to pasting your jar files. Okay, there would be one lib folder, and inside the lib folder you have to paste this thing, paste the files and that structure. And as well as this Anaconda also installed in the app data folder, and the app data folder is hidden inside your system. So first you have to enable it, then you can use it. Okay, click on next. Okay, install. Register as my device. If you don't have any Python installed, then go with this thing, register Anaconda 3 as my default Python 3.8. If your Python has already installed, then it will just goof up with that. Just okay, go install. Click on install. sometimes it takes time based on your system. Okay, so if sometimes any of your system takes 30 minutes of time, then don't need to worry, it will install. Okay, it could take times. After that there will be one option, after that window one option will
Hello, sir.
come. Yes, so
So I'm not able to connect nicely because of the network connection.
okay,
Though I got connected through my friend's network, I think I will not able to continue the rest of the session nicely because of the network issue.
okay, no
Sir,
issue.
sir, can you please tell me what you've installed Anaconda? I have already installed Anaconda.
Okay, first, okay, so in Anaconda, basically which version you are using, the version is very important.
It's a version, I think 2020 point and something,
Okay,
2021
then
or
it
20.
is nothing but your Python 3.8. Okay, it will
So
work.
Python 3.8 you have installed, na?
Hmm.
Okay, I both have 3.8 and 3.9.
Okay, no, don't use this thing. It will provide the ambiguity sometimes. Use only one version, either 3.8 or 3.9.
Okay, sir. I want to say something that
Yes.
I'm doing a project in Python. I'm having an error. Error in the sense that I've installed the PyCharm also, but it is showing an error of interpreter.
Error of interpreter, yeah. The error is come because of your version. I told you.
Okay, I
If
think
you are
I will.
using two versions, actually me myself got faced the same facility. First I installed the 3.7, then I again I don't reinstall, I again install 3.5 I used, and 3.7 I installed. What happened,
Okay.
basically by default you will not find out that which on where basically it takes, either it is going to take
Okay.
3.5 or 3.7, and the files become ambiguous to each other.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Check once more that the file location is same or different.
Okay. And so I want to say that I was having a project, my one project work that I have done my project, but I didn't get the output. Means to say there is no error in the project. And I've done in the Jupyter notebook, and I didn't face any error. First used to I faced an error. I have corrected it of my own, and I didn't get any type of output.
Basically your output is not coming.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be the same issue according to your interpreter, I think also.
Though it is not possible today to show you because of the network connection, I will show you tomorrow about
Okay,
regarding that.
yeah, in the next class you can show it too.
Okay, so it will help me. Okay.
Surely.
Thank you.
Okay, so as I'm saying that after that fold, after that window, your window, the next another window will come and it will show the installation is done, and there's one option of the Visual Studio distribution or business code. So I think don't need to install that file. From here you can directly access the whole contents. After installing the Anaconda, just restart your systems. Some of the time it's required. If your system take it as the administrative version, then it will not require. But if it did not, then sometimes it's required to reinstall it, and then you can use this thing. Okay, so you click that Anaconda environment browser with that logo, the similar logo that is showing into that your systems. The logo will opening, and just click on that. There would be several ID. One is your the Spider, and another is your Jupyter notebook also. Okay, and if you search it from the console or search from the Windows search bar, you will find out that Spider and this Jupyter ID will directly comes. Okay, in the advanced version. Okay, all right, so let's start. So today what I will say, or try to relate it with your Java languages. Okay, because it is basically similar to the Java languages, but more advanced and more less complex. Okay, then Vijit, I think you can stop your screen because it would take time. Yeah,
Okay.
about 30 to 40. If the window comes, just tell me, then I will show the next steps.
Sure, sure.
Why do we use Python? This is the main question it came, that what is the difference between this your Python or Java or Python or C++ or Python or any other languages? If Python is so much familiar, then why still we are not using it for our software development purpose? Yeah, most of the system or some of the companies still doing some software development using Python, or web development. Web development is common. Web development is Python, or some testing part is the Python. Before that, let me start with the what we use the Python. The main is the software quality, more you can say the code quality, that I show you that instead of this 5 or 6 line of complexity, I can reduce with only single line, that is a printf. And here you don't have to write the main function also, you don't have to write the class also, you just directly use the printf statement, and whatever you wanted to print, you just print that line. So it becomes your code more reliability, and more the quality becomes more accurate. Like system like that, suppose I wanted to print, and there is also thousands of features in Python. Okay, that will come one by one, but I will not go into more theoretical part. We will come with this your practical session and the practical part, and I will show you the how much it is differs from the C languages, or that sorry, differs from the Java languages. It would help you. Second is that sometimes if your code required one or more time, again and again it need to execution, so most of the time the lines requires it, you can use one line more than one times in a modules. Okay, or in a, we can say modules, or in a programming code. Third features came that productivity. Using the Python, the productivity increase means as same thing as the complexity reduce, the productivity always increase. There is one cross functionality between these two. That's simple and guess. Here in Python we have two very less to debug. Why very less to debug? Because the same point, as it is less complex, then it is very understandable to the developer, so it very need to less to debug this four. And the second is it boosts the programmer speeds. And also fifth point is, okay, let me write down the steps of the software quality. Software quality I told you. Next is the productivity, less complex. Reusability. Less. Okay. Next, and very much important term, that is portable. What is portable? Tell me. Any of you just guess it, because you guys already know in Java.
Platform independent.
Platform independent, yes, surely. And a little bit, okay, that's it. Portable means basically it does not require any kind of operating system. It can perform anywhere. Any operating system it can perform. Either it is Unix, it is Linux, it is Windows, it is Mac, anywhere it can be performed. That's why you can portable. We can carry out the whole content, and we can reuse it again and again the same time. Suppose I am written this thing in the Windows file, or in the Windows system. You wanted to take it, you wanted to, if you have Linux based system, you can directly copy the code and you can use it, you can play the role. very easy. That's why you call this a portability. Okay, so one thing that okay, I will show you. Next is very much important. This is the one of the key features. These all features, come with your Java programming languages. Productivity also there, but in Python it is a little more. It is little less complex rather than this Java, but this is the main support libraries. Why the industry is basically taking the Python languages, library support libraries. Python has lot of libraries supported, and it has a huge community, a huge community kind of groups. Why is that? There are, if some functionality is needed, you will find out that there is a one package installs. Okay, some of the package known as the numpy, you will see. Second is pandas, second is matplotlib, and there's lots so on. These are not included, these are not built-in packages, these are all the user driven package, or you can say these are the modules. Okay, and using that our programming becomes a very much easy. So it supports a lots of libraries. Okay, and next key features is, let me write it down. Component integrations. What do you mean by component integrations? Component integration means, suppose you have written down some code in Java. Okay, so suppose now you are writing it in Python programming languages. You need all the code that has been written in the Java. You don't need to rewrite it again and again. Python use component integration to convert your Java code to a Python code or Python system code. There is several modules for it where you can execute the Java code. Okay, or it will create a similar kind of Java code. Same as for the C also. Okay. Second one is that this component integration, it provides you to customizations at the certain level, the maximum level of the customization of your interactive systems. Okay, as well as your, if you have to extend some tools or upgrade something, we can very easily use this thing, this component integrations. So second one is the C++ and the Java. Okay. C++, we already know that it is very hardware level of coding. Yes, and the Java is software level of coding, and Python basically is a combination of your C++, C has, and Java. Now this Python is also used like your C++, and we can create the hardware level of coding. It will support. Python is used to create some softwares or some system in kind of some application kind of environment, and we can use it to here. So Python basically, it has extensive features in which context wherever we need it, we can basically copy this thing, we can basically inherit something, and we can basically upgrade something, and we can use the whole context. So these are the special features of the Python. And the last is very key, that is very enjoyable environment. It is very enjoyable kind of platform. Okay, all right. Now next is
Sir, my installation I think completed.
complete. Okay, just okay, then I am stopping my screen. You see it. Okay, okay, that's done. Now click on the next. Anaconda evaluation tutorial getting started. Okay, click on finish. Okay, now just click on the search, click on the Windows, your Windows logo. Yeah, not the above one. Yeah. Here you will find out there is this such Anaconda. Okay, see the Anaconda 364 bit. No, not that prompt. Anaconda 64 bit. Click on here.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So we need to install Python 3.8 in But default, sir, right? We need to install first Python 3.8. After then,
No,
we need
for Anaconda actually you not required to install the Python 3.8. It comes, Anaconda comes with 3.8 by default.
okay, it's okay, sir. So we need to, we don't need to install anything extra, right?
No, you don't need to install anything extra. That is the beauty of Anaconda. Okay, click on that. Click on the navigator. It takes a little bit time. It's 1 or 2 minutes. But the first time basically it takes time. The next time it will not. See, here it comes with this all packages, it's all environment. So what is basically here in it? See, in each of the module, we can use it for some kind of Python execution or some kind of functionality needed. So this spider is the similar of your PyCharm IDE. And this Jupyter is also similar kind of, Jupyter is similar kind of, we can say it's an IDE, but Jupyter also support the shell scripting on that text editor file. That is the advantage of the Jupyter. Okay, so you can click on Jupyter. Okay, click on Jupyter.
Launch.
Yeah, click on launch. Yeah, Google Chrome. Google Chrome. Yes. See, this Jupyter, one thing you can find, as you guys already knew, was JSP servlet. In the top browser, one is showing localhost :8888/3. Right. Can anyone tell me what is this thing?
This is a local server on my system or machine.
Yeah. When you install the Jupyter notebook cannot be run without a server. Remember, server means in the backend what would be running, that is what the Python interpreter. Python interpreter runs behind this Jupyter notebook. So it basically provide you kind of the server kind of architecture it provides. So this localhost 8888, it is nothing but a default, you can say a default server basically when you install the Jupyter notebook, and it provides you here all of your files are located. So if you wanted to go with this Jupyter notebook, then just go and create a file here. Here you can go to any folder, or you wanted to create folder here. If you wanted to desktop, then go to the desktop or anything here. Just just select. Okay, now click one folder here. Go to see in the new. Then go to right side. There is one drop down. Click on the drop down. Yeah, click on the new. Yeah, see here is another folder. Right, click on folder. Now see there will be some unnamed untitled folder is there. Click on that. Now into the untitled folder, into the above, click on untitled folder. See, let me see. Okay, there is no rename option. Okay, I will. In the next step, so you have to rename here directly. Okay, here you can create your Python files. Click on new. Okay, and just create one Python editors. Python 3 notebook, Python 3. Yes. This is your as well as your Python script shell scripting, and as well as your text editor, both combined with one single files. Okay, and that comes with some certain functionality that we will show you in the next day, that what is a functionalities comes with this Jupyter notebook and what is this spider. Okay, so let it be like that. Now click on the Anaconda navigator. See in the below in your taskbar, app, click on that. See, there is one spider. Click on the spider. Launch. Okay, install guide. Okay, install it.
Click on OK.
Click on OK. Check for update. Yeah, you can check it. Don't need to install the Karbekarapasi mode of configuration. Okay, see what is it is the what is the kite? Kite is one AI software. Okay, it provides some accuracy regarding such your numpys pattern for your advanced kind of your like some data analysis part or some kind of data visualization part. It provides your help. Okay, so for now don't need to install it. Later you can install this thing, the kite. Okay, dismiss. Click on dismiss. Yeah, here it is similar, exact similar of your PyCharm module, or you guys say the Eclipse module. You will find out. Okay, the right side, the left side, basically these are all your text data file. Here you can write the codes, write all the thing. When you run the file, it will reflect in the right side, nothing but here. Okay, this 2 IDE is compact, and the resultant is nothing but the Jupyter notebook. Jupyter notebook, here you can use that cell as your text editor as well as your say the scripting also. Okay, that depends on you. Whatever you wanted to choose, you can choose it. But what happened basically we do in the industries most of the times at your our R&D process or R&D kind of time, we use Jupyter notebook to any kind of this thing. But suppose we are going to build a application, complex application, on that time the Jupyter notebook basically it, I'm not saying that we cannot use this Jupyter notebook for a projects kind of related purpose or that kind of purpose. No, we can use this thing, but Jupyter notebook we can get output each of the block, each of the statement. There is a multi-block outline. So Jupyter notebook basically used for your learning purpose and as well as for R&D purpose. And this spider or the PyCharm, this text editor basically used for your project related purpose most of the time. And your anybody if you wanted to use the Visual Studio, you guys also find out that Visual Studio is also support this Python kind of environment. And if someone is using the Mac environment system, then my suggestion is go with this Visual Studio, because Visual Studio also comes with this similar interactive model, and there also you have the Pythons, and that's all. Okay, leave it for now.
Sir, what about Xcode?
Xcode. Xcode, actually, I don't know. Maybe it is used for
Yes,
some
sir.
your testing purpose or some testing related code. As you see, these are the from the basic text editor files. Okay, and suppose if you're going to interact with some system kind of core or system kind of machine, then you can use this VS Code and all. Actually, VS Code is mostly used for your what you can say. VS Code is nothing but one text editor, a simple normal text editor, and with comes a compiler, a random compiler. Okay, so whatever criteria you needed, you can use it. Like suppose you wanted to use the Java, you can install the Java complete code at the complete setup, and you can use that text editor, the VS Code for it, and as well as your for this Python and for some other languages. And more familiarly, more precisely, I can say one thing, that this VS Code basically provide a good result if you are using the Django. Suppose if you are using the Django, some advanced kind of framework, try to use VS Code or Sublime Text. This two text editor is very important, very good for it. Because in when basically your file need to execute from the console directly, not from your IDE. On that time, this VS Code perform very good. But for learning purpose, we can use anything here. Or for project purpose, you can use anything. This thing also, because these will all deploy at the end of the time, and the server will execute the files. So just use and implement this thing. Okay.
Sir,
All right. Yes.
may I share please my screen?
Yes. Yes. Surely. Abhijit, you can stop.
Yeah, okay.
So next, what can I do?
First, this is the your interactive cells here. Okay, so click on that cell. Just write down anything here. No, not that cell, not that cell. The cell that is opening. That's already open. Yeah, that's all. You can say. Yeah, just write print. Then bracket open and close. Okay. Yeah, just inside a string, just write hello world. Why I'm telling you to do inside that bracket. Yeah.
Okay. Hello world.
Hello world or whatever, anything, any name, ABC or whatever, just print.
Okay, okay.
Why I'm doing this thing, why I'm telling this thing. Now click enter. Just press enter only. Or click enter, control enter, sorry. Control and enter. See, the output came. So that cell, whatever you have written here, this cell can be used here as a text editor or can be used as your cell file or cell scripting file or console, we can say. What do you mean console? If you open the your Spider notebook in the right hand side, that is the console. There you can find the output. Okay, you can directly pass. Okay, why we actually how we can write everything directly to the console, that I will show you in the next part. That what is the features that Python provides. Okay. Okay, all right. Now the next part is you guys already find out that is the Python is a scripting language or programming. Okay, you can stop, Asmita. Now let me share it to my screen. Okay, today I'm not going into this given your if else statement, while loop, this thing, because you guys already knew about this thing. It takes only one class. That is an exact similar kind of your Java, but yeah, we can provide some extra functionality with that thing. That the next day I will show you. But just for the brush up today, let me show you that is Python is a, this term you guys find out. It is a programming language or scripting language. Programming language you guys already know. Now before going to, can you know what is script? Just have you heard of what is script?
JavaScript.
Nice one. JavaScript. Okay, actually the concept come from that way. JavaScript is not a we cannot say JavaScript is a completely scripting language. Actually basically script came from, suppose your program is executing, okay, control is executing, I just insert something there, I just insert a part of file there. That's come with the scripting languages. Scripting language came from that part where we can directly there is also two to three characteristics is combined for the scripting languages. One of the functions is that we can directly write the program at the console directly. In C programming language, are you able to do this thing in the console directly? Obviously not. You have to write it down at the your editor file, nothing but the .c file. Then it will execute with the compiler and provide the result. But at the scripting or at the console means at the time of the execution, we're providing some program. Or we can say not that way. We can say that we don't need to any text editor there. We can directly execute our codes at the console directly. That's come one of the scripting language, one of the characteristics of the scripting languages. The second one is scripting language always follow interpreter. Python is also for interpreter. So we can say that this Python is a scripting languages according to the interpreter concept. And the first one, that we can directly run to the console, we can directly send some data to the console. Yes, in Python you can also do that kind of characteristics directly. Okay, next is, so now comes to the point that Python supports this interpreter as well as the scripting languages. Okay, so can we call the Python as a programming languages? Now what is the differences between this programming language and the scripting languages mainly? mainly, and basically there is a lot of debate about that. The main comparison between these two programming languages are those which is considered as the multi-file languages. Multi-file means, suppose it has a lot of line. If your program is very short and simple, it will execute directly to the console. You can say that it can be, if it is the interpreter in the backend, then you can say it can be the scripting languages. But programming language, it can be complex. It may be complex. It cannot use your this interpreter. It supports all the object-oriented concepts, and as well as it also supports all the software development concepts also. So that's why we can say that it is a programming language. So what Python supports? The main question comes, what Python supports. Python supports both as your programming language as your scripting language. Based on your nature, or based on how you are using that file, we can say that Python is a programming language or scripting language. More spaces, or in some area you will find out that Python is called scripting languages, but in some area you also find out that Python is called programming language. So we cannot say directly that it is a programming language or it is scripting languages, based on that file, how we are accessing or how we are executing. Okay, but okay, so now here I coin one term, that is the interpreter. Okay, before that, one thing we can show you, that is scripting languages. Scripting languages has three special, you can say, three criteria. One is the shell tools. Or just shell tools. If you guys use the Unix, you will find out that there is a shell terminal is there. You can go there. You can, if you wanted to do something, to execute any file or anything, you can directly run through the file, run through the shell commands or shell the consoles. Okay, so it comes with this similar characteristic of Python. Python can be executed that way. Okay, so that's why we can say this thing. Next is, it is very control languages. Okay. So what do you mean by control languages? Simplest thing, it is used to control and direct to other applications components. Simple and straight. So to control some other components, or to provide some upgraded functionalities, or to basically to stop some executions, to provide any kind of controls area, we can use this thing this way directly. And as well as the direct means, suppose I wanted to send some small amount of file or small amount of code directly, we can use Python for it. Small amount of coding means I am describing it as the size, the lines of coding or lines of thing. Okay, or you can say the lines of functionality we are providing it. Next, Python creates a little bit of flexible tools. Okay, why is that? You can see the flexibility of the Python. It can be used for any kind of functionality to implement anything. Suppose my OS need a software thing, or my OS need execution of this task, I can control this thing using the Python command, Python interpreter. Okay, and I can also do the similar thing. Suppose a driver needs some support, I can use this thing. I can use this Python programming language to support the driver also. And third one is scripting language is said that it is very easy to use, because as it is less size and less complex. So similar way we can say this thing. So don't need to go deeper into that part, but before that, one thing you guys needed, that is, one is called compiler, one is called interpreter. Can you say me what is compiler and what is interpreter? Because you guys already knew in Java, and Java use this both thing. Compiler
interpreter checks line by line.
And compiler?
All at a time.
The interpreter runs the code line by line, I think, and compiler runs the whole data.
Very good. Now just tell me one. Suppose I have written 5 lines. Let me write it as A. So when basically the backend going to execute this thing, they execute that file. As you say, interpreter will execute line by line. So first, how it will read this one, then it will read this one, it will read this one, this one, this one. So compiler, when it will going to read something, it will going to read that fashion. It will start from there. It will read that way. It will read that way. It will read that way again and again, again and again, again. So basically, how we are saying that compiler executes whole core at once and interpreter executes line by line individually. The concept came mainly interpreter provide result only up to that line. Up to that line, it will see. Up to that line, it will execute the whole content and provide the result. Again, then it will convert basically what has done this compiler interpreter related to the first level of the execution, nothing but creating the bytecode. It will convert that file, and in Python also it support the bytecode format. That's why you can say the portability that you guys already told. If anywhere you will find out the portability of it, then remember one thing, that it supports the bytecode format all the time. Because if it supports the bytecode, then it can be it cannot be dependent to the operating system. It only dependent to that interpreter that has been installed in that operating system. That's why you can say it is a machine independent code. Now into that, so okay, so what is done in the interpreter, it line read into the each line, and it converts and provide the result corresponding to that. Similar for that this one, similar for this one, similar for this one, similar for this one. Then here is my complete result of the interpreter. Maybe there is some interpreter language is there, nothing but there will be a binary stream, nothing can say. Compiler, what it done, it start to read from this thing, then it line read, then read, then read, then read. When the line ends, then it converts the whole context into your byte stream or the bytecode format. Okay, clear everyone?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, I have one issue.
Yes,
My machine is showing that I have two versions of Python installed.
I told you now, you have to uninstall one version. Not only that, you have to uninstall it and you have to remove all the files that have been installed there. Because when the next time when the first one or the second one is trying to execute, it always try to fetch from this either first folder or the second folder. Okay, so you have to remove it.
So one
So
minute, can I share my screen?
okay, so that.
Hello, sir. Sarah Sharma.
Yeah, yes.
Sir, can you please help me with my project work? I have completed a project. The thing is that if I send you the code and the model file, that H5 file, can you please execute it and see that whether I have done correct it or not?
Okay, I will check it. I will check it. Okay,
Okay,
what?
I will see.
Just one by one, just share your screen.
Okay.
Hello, sir. My screen is visible.
Yeah, it is visible.
So see, in this command prompt, it is showing that.
No, one thing. Just first maximize your Anaconda Navigator.
Yes, sir.
Maximize your Anaconda Navigator. No, don't close. Maximize it. Okay, all right. Now click on any. Click on spider. Okay. Now into this console, just type anything there, or
Yeah.
just type Python console.
Yeah.
Into the console, just type Python, then there's just version.
So it is showing that Python 3.85 is installed. Okay, sir.
Python. Okay, 1 minute. Python traceback. See here, Python is not defined. Okay.
Sir, here it is showing 3.85, and in my, I mean, here in the system, 1 minute. 1 minute, sir. And see, sir, here it is showing that. Sir, here it is showing a 3.8.8.
It is already ambiguous to your system. What you can do, basically, you have to uninstall the whole Python content, all of this. Everything you have to uninstall, you have to remove it, then you can install it. I think otherwise it will not show, because see, this is your administrative command prompt, right? Now click on the conda prompt, click on this search, and you find out this conda prompt.
I will type conda.
Hello, sir. Hello,
Yes.
sir. Trisha speaking.
Yes, Trisha.
Sir, will you continue till 8:30?
Not 8:30, I think 8:15 or 8:20, I guess, for today.
Okay, sir. I have an exam tomorrow. Actually, I have to leave now. I'll join in the next class.
Okay, surely you can.
Okay, sorry, sir.
Yeah, no issue. Okay, no, not here. You just go and search in the Windows taskbar. Search there, Conda terminal. Here, just type it out, Conda terminals or Conda prompt. Conda space the prompt. Conda prompt. Okay, no, nothing is there. Okay, 1 minute. Just give me your system control. I'm not able to control it, but one second. It's not supporting. Okay. Click on the Anaconda navigator. This navigator is open already. See, is there any so that.
So this Anaconda Navigator is an individual version, right?
Individual versions. I think actually I have to find out the Anaconda. Actually, you have one Python that is from Anaconda. You already have one Python installed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is actually the problem is coming from that way.
Okay, so I can remove this one. I am showing you. Can I remove this one? I have previously.
You can remove the normal Python way. Python 3.0. Just remove this thing.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Then you remove this thing, and as I told you, that remove this as well as first restart your system. Then if some files is there, it will provide some ambiguity.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, and over here who is saying that you want to share a project. Okay, share your screen. I will. You said that your output is not coming. Share your screen. Who has told Saurabh or
Yes, sir, Saurabh Sharma, but I'm not able to. Thing is that I'm having network issue now, so I think I have to
okay.
WhatsApp your mail user.
Okay, so next time I can check. Okay, all right. Now comes to the second. Today I only take. I'm not going into your deep like your this operator data integer. It takes only one day because you guys already knew about this thing in Java. So you guys already knew about the basic coding. What are the things new that I will show you? Okay, all right. Now Using Python, what are the applications we can develop? The main thing we can say. The applications are using the Python. One is Python can be used for a system programming. But in India, mostly Python is not used for a system programming. For that other languages, but yes, using the Python, we can use the Python system programming. And why in India it is not used, basically that depends on the industries, what it is accept. Some other technologies provide more functionality, that's why, and up to that much Python is not provided. So that's why Python is disregarded or discarded from that way. System programming. So in system programming, basically, what are the main languages is used? You know, see this Java and C++. C++ is for hardware level of coding, and this your C++ is for the hardware level of coding most of them. .NET is used sometimes, but C++. Next is your web, or next is your GUI. Python is also support this GUI format. It is used to create this GUI kind of system, but default package is Tinker, TIM, or we can say TKGUI. This is the default package most of the time, but actually then it becomes advanced. Now we use some external tool for it. So using the Python, we can use this GUI development. Okay. Next is internet scripting. Cisco use this format, internet scripting. What is the internet scripting part? You guys already know about one file format, XML. Can you tell me what is XML file? As you learn about this JSP format.
So it's a server configuration file.
Completely true. It is a server configuration file. All right, server config file. So Python is used to create scripting on the server files or the XML files. So what is the XML file? Basically nothing but it has, basically the server does not know anything about the system or about the project. It only find out anything from the XML files. What has been written there, server will take that thing or take the instruction, mainly take the instruction and provide the result as executed that thing. So same here, this Python can be used for your internet scripting part. Next, DB. Python has one inbuilt DB supported. Okay, that is SQLite. If you are going to use this SQLite, basically SQLite, it has one real-time application is mobile games. In the previous mobile games, it is used SQLite. It is less size than your other your applications like the Oracles and your the PostGRE, as well as your MySQL. SQLite is little bit less complex, having less features, and as well as it is less size. So in Python, it is a inbuilt DB supported, nothing but this SQLite, and this SQLite we can use any kind of DB operation on the DB part. Next, mostly where we use, first of all, is for your automations. We can use, basically, let me write down these automations. High level of calculations. Numeric and scientific programming. Numeric programming and scientific programming, what is the difference between this programming rather than the normal programming? That I told you that I told you, don't worry. But the automation, high level calculation, numeric scientific programming, next is your numeric architecture. Okay, that's all. This whole concept, this whole structure came under one topic. Yeah. Python is mostly used to create any functionality into this artificial intelligence domain, and in nowadays Python is mostly used for it, this AI domain. And Python is evolved. Basically, the world got the name Python after Google adopt this Python languages, and Google use it mainly for your this development purpose. Is any kind of the artificial intelligence related coding. After that, everything came. For like, suppose I need one your graphics user interfaces. Using the Python, just it creates one packages, it builds one package and uses GUI for it. For DB, it is used SQLite. In the later, it supports also SQL, sorry, MySQL as well as your PostGRE and also and so on. Now, what is automation? The main thing you guys know that automation are those things which does not require a humans or any labor to repeat this thing again and again. We just create one instruction, we just throw or we just fire out one instruction, and it will start execution again and again and again until we got the ultimate results. That is automations. And now every industry are moving towards to the automations. Everything in each of the your domain, like for network, for your web development, for software development, for any kind of thing, every industry now moving forward to this automation. Second one is the high level of calculations. High level of calculation means, suppose we can say in any statistical learning or any statistical analysis, suppose I create one complex equation. To solve the complex equation, we need this higher level of calculation or higher level configuration. Think like that. Suppose I wanted to add 2 plus 2, so the result would become 4. As simplest structure, I am saying this, the result become 4. So if it is executing 1 trillions of time, then there is no way we can basically use any programming language, any system. But Python, as it is very less complex and it provides very it provides more flexible to the users and more flexible to the as well system also. Suppose I wanted to run this field trillions of times, because in higher level of calculation, the backend actually it happens. So on that time, Python becomes more effective. Similarly, the similar thing is the numeric analysis. So rather than this only, there's several kind of other equation solution. The numeric analysis we have done. And the next is the scientific programming. What is the scientific programming? See, what is the difference between the scientific programming and the normal programming? Scientific programming comes when there is no actual results. The results may vary with respect to the data we are proceeding, with respect to the data we are proceeding, with respect to the way we are behaving it, with respect to any other environment. It may affect it. It may factor it. That is a scientific programming, you can say. So that is the one of the key specialty and the key understanding of this artificial intelligence into your Python. Okay, so most of the industry basically uses this Python languages. One is the Google, as I told you, the backend. Most of the time, Google, most of the area Google uses this thing, as well as some other, we can say your Oracle also. Okay, next comes now Cisco Adapt. This Oracle, and lots of techniques. So now Python is very familiar to each other programming languages. So the next question came that we heard a lot of advantages of this Python, and that's all. Now, what is the drawback of the Python? What is the disadvantage of the Python? Sometimes, not all of the time, or not, it is not occurring all of the programming languages. Sometimes we find out for some multi-programmer, from system level of programming or some application level of programming, Python provides a less accuracy rather than a normal programming language. What do you mean by less accuracy? I'm saying about, I am talking about this accuracy related to that time complexity. Nothing like your output. So sometimes it is find out, that is one drawback that I found, that Python provides a little bit, Python takes sometimes little bit more time related to some other programming languages. Why? Basically it happens because of the supportance of this object oriented concept or the OOPS concept. So this thing I will show you that in Python we use this object oriented concept, but there is some advanced kind of structure that we can use this thing, and this will provide more accurate, or this will provide less complex to the systems, or to any programs or any projects also. Okay, clear everyone? So the main is, now Python, it is free, it is open source software, and it is portable. So how it becomes portability, let me show you. Okay, any question guys, everyone? Okay, all right. Now how becomes the Python portability? I will not go deep, because already see this thing into this C, into the Java programming languages. So let me just cover it up or sum it around. This is the source file. What do you mean by source code? Can you say it? What is source code? This time we will find out. Source code or source file. Source code nothing but what is written by the developer. That is simplest structure. That is a source code. So what happened? This source code, basically it will execute. Python is also has a
Collection of code.
yes.
Source code is a collection of code.
Source code is that the code which is written by the developer. Simplest, very simple. PVM. In Java, you guys already heard JVM. In Python, it is PVM. PVM stands for Python Virtual Machine. What is the functionality provides the Python Virtual Machine? Basically, it takes the source code, then it executes and convert a intermediate code rather than the final output, that is the byte code, we can say. These source codes become the bytes code or the byte stream. So the name becomes source.pyc. In Java, if we find out that a .java file is compiled and is converted to a byte stream, and the name becomes JavaC, .javac, right? So these .pyc represent this Python class, nothing but this .py convert to a Python class files. And this bytecode is nothing but stream of 0 and 1, a continuation stream of this compiled 0 and 1. Then finally it executes and it provides the final output, or it converts to the machine level code. Here. Machine code. Now, if I have this interaction, this complete interaction installed in any OS, this thing basically is dependent to the OS. Every OS has different interpreter installed into their systems, and that interpreter is used to convert from this source PYC file to this machine readable code. And this source PYC file, it only executed by that one, nothing but this interpreter file, this interpreter. not OS. That's why this bytecode is the machine independent code, not the dependency. It not provide the dependency like the C languages or the C++. That's all. Okay. So as we know in Java, in Python also, Python basically the source file compiled and created a byte stream, the file name then converted to the source.pyc. That may be AIM or XYZ, whatever it is, but that extension is .py to .pyc. Then this .pyc is converted and create a machine readable code, nothing but a runtime code. Okay, clear everyone? Any question or any doubts? Okay, all right. So in the next day, today as I not go into this any of the coding portion, from the next day I will start from how the data types are there, the loops kind of structure, the operations, the assignments operation. Okay, just anyone guess it that how many kind of operation are occurred into a programming languages?
Read, write, fetching.
No, not that kind. Just suppose I gave you a equal to a plus 1. Then what would be the operation type?
So what?
I gave you one statement, a equal to a plus 1. So what would be the operation? Suppose a is initialized with 1.
Addition operation.
So in general, our systems, it done only one is this arithmetic or arithmetic operations. Okay, and the second one is your logical operation, or we can this arithmetic operation we are saying that at the context of the addition or any multiplication. In more precise or more generalistic way, we can say one is the assignment operation or assigning operation, and the second one is the logical operation. Okay. So why I am telling this thing, basically there is one little bit difference between that. Next day I will show you. Okay. Okay, so that's all for today. If anybody have any doubts or any guesses, you can say, or any query.
The logical and relational operator are same.
Same.
Okay.
Relational operator. See, relation basically it is nothing but one subset of your logical operation. Logical operation maybe the everything is there. If you are going to kind of relate something, but sometimes most of there is no such of things like all of the time we are going to create any relation operator, any related kind of structure. But logical operation is do the same kind of functionality. Suppose I wanted to compare between one data to another data, we just provide the according to its results. That's all. Okay. And in Java also there are several. In Java, what operator you guys see here also the similar operator you will find out. That is the assignment operator, the logical operator, bitwise operator, shifting operators. Same here. Everything is same. Just the syntax is different. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Data types also are the same in Java.
Data type, something becomes more advanced. Some data type becomes more advanced. Some still we keep as its individual ones. Because in Python, there is nothing direct data type like the integer or the float or the, we can say, the integer or float. Basically, there is one data type, we can say this is numeric. Because in Python, see, why I'm saying this thing, in Python, you will find out there is no need to, you have to write down this thing, integer I equal to 10. Instead of this in Python, just direct type I equal to 10.
Okay.
So this is known as actually there is one concept that is the dynamic type, dynamic casting, that I will show you in the next day. So what happened in Java, basically you have to declare this data type previous. That's why this data can become one instinct with each other. Like for integer, you have to declare this thing. In Python, if I am going to declare it with the 10, then this I become integer value. If it is I declare integer with 10.0, then it becomes the what you would say, the floating pointer value, and that's all based on the dynamic. So in Python, basically these two are combined, and it is say that it is a numeric. And then comes the string operation. In Python, there is no characters, no concept of the characters. Every concept, everything is the character concept is embedded inside your string operation. And also there is the Boolean, and that's all. And some advanced data structure like the lists, the tuple, dictionary, set. These are all similar like your collection framework. Have you guys learned collection framework in Java?
No, sure.
Okay. So in collection framework, if you have to, okay, I will show this thing. So these are basically some collection framework, basically more it becomes less complex and more easiest to the developer. And in Python, basically they are created in separate data structure like the list, the tuples, and the dictionary sets, and that's all. And we can create the multiple kind of operations. And in Python, the array concept of the array is combined and embedded into the list. Basically, in the backend, everything is array, but we use the more advanced form or the advanced way. Okay. All right. Okay. So thank you all. Thank you to joining today's session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
We will continue in the next day.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Then yes. Okay. So I think Vijit, you can close today's session then.
When will be the next?
Okay, sir.
Next time it will be uploaded in the group.
Okay, sir. Thank you very good.
Welcome to all. Yes.